What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Moxstars podcast, the #1 podcast on the internet for Magic the Gathering and Dr. Pepper. I am Evan Kunai, one of your hosts, and I'm here with Jordan Garcia.
What's up, Pepperheads?
And Christopher Ritter.
Hello.
I took your intro.
It happens.
I was so confident about it.
We're here with a little bit of a bonus ep with Topher, who runs the PDX cEDH Discord server, and Will, who is also with the cEDH Discord community as well. So we're very excited to present you guys with Road to the Finals. But before we get into that, you can support the show by finding us on YouTube, where you can like, subscribe, and ring that bell for more notifications. You can find us on all major podcasting platforms. Give us a 5-star review. It makes us look really, really cool.
Super cool.
So cool. And you can also find us on Patreon. Huge shout out to our supporters who have signed up to be official Pepperheads.
Yeah, we got like 40 or something like that?
We're getting close to that. If we're not already
40,000?
there, we're getting close.
Yeah, 40K.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you to every single one of our supporters. You really believe in us, and it's been great to do this show for now over a year.
Not quite sure why all of us still work when we have 40K patrons, but you know.
This is work now. This is the job, dude.
100%.
Well, you can also join us on our Discord community server, where we're always popping off and talking about hot deck lists and new brews.
Oh, they're
and
brewing
new
up
cards.
a storm, especially with all the new Doctor Who stuff coming out.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm pretty excited about the third Doctor and that Vizlor guy or whatever in the food chain package. It's pretty hype.
I will be honest, I have no idea what any of that means yet. I need to look more into this.
Got it.
Yeah, I'm still like, I
You were
feel like
so confident.
Other people. There's been a lot of talk. I know Guy is super into the food chainy kind of vibes. Yeah, and I've been seeing. I did like that little like robot. I don't know anything about Doctor Who is the problem.
K-9.
Yeah, that makes sense. The like single blue mana artifact creature where
dog.
Artifact creature dog. Thank you. And it does something.
Have you seen?
I wasn't correcting you. I was just saying dog.
Dog. I think it is an artifact creature dog though.
Really?
Have you seen the War Doctor deck that plays like I think it's all lands, Lightning Greaves, the War Doctor, and I forget which Doctor's companion it is, and it's just a meme deck.
No, but I love.
Yeah, and it can just one shot.
Really?
It's super glass cannon.
Okay. I mean,
Love that.
I love a good meme.
Yes.
There was that really cool one. I guess we're talking about Doctor Who right now. There was that really cool one, the master bad guy, whatever the Rakdos guy, 6-mana Rakdos guy.
Your
Super Nagila.
tokens don't have, or the legend rules.
Yeah,
don't have
myriad,
tokens.
blah, blah, blah.
The Master
blah.
multiplied, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
That guy's sick.
Yeah, I think that's really cool, like design space. And I think that as we've all tagged along on the journey of Doctor Who in this set coming out, if you've paid any attention to Gavin Verhey's like Instagram page or just
He's so stoked about this stuff.
yeah, and he went to so many events and so many like he was just saying how some of these cards came to life was just so rewarding for him as a game designer. So get out there. Appreciate this product. I know I'm going to. Through what means? I don't know yet. I might just buy some packs and open the cards and see what the feel is like. You know?
Are like none of us Doctor Who guys?
No.
Yeah, more
like-
of a kick puncher fan.
A kick puncher.
That's a community reference.
I knew it's a community reference. Now we were doing a community crossover.
What do they call Doctor Who on Community? It's Doctor
Oh, yeah. What was that?
Doctor Spaceman or Doctor Spacetime or something.
Yeah.
Probably.
Officer Constable Spacetime.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love those, though.
Yeah, it wasn't until last week that someone was like, "You would really like Doctor Who," and I'm like, "Would I?" And they're like,
sure?
"Yeah, you would." British humor with dinosaurs and stuff. Yeah, of course you would.
I mean,
And
actually, not when they say it like that.
when they sold it like that, yeah, I'm like, yeah, I would
Evan's
love
a
this
huge
show.
Doctor Who stan now.
Yeah.
Well, we're super off the rails. What are we talking about?
We.
Our Patreon.
Yeah, you can sign up for our Patreon.
Really back in here.
For $3, you can become a Pepperhead.
Pepperhead.
Now, the moment you've all been waiting for. The Road to Finals, presented by Topher and Will of the PDX and cEDH Discord servers.
Hell yeah, dude. So yeah, today we got Topher from the PDX cEDH Discord. What's up, dude?
Hello.
And we also have Will from the SeaEDH, SeaEDH Discord. That's where we do a lot of the stuff for the Issaquah tournaments.
Howdy, guys. Thanks for getting me on the podcast.
Yeah, so stoked to have both you guys here. You guys are like huge like community members. Like a lot of the tournaments we've participated in because you guys have organized them. And Topher, you're just like, lead the seed down in Portland. So that's rad as hell. You guys are just running the PNW side of things, and it's great, man. So happy to have you guys both here.
Yeah, absolutely. And biggest reason that we're guys on your podcast today is we wanted to talk about a tournament that we're throwing in the middle of November. November 18th through 19th is going to be the Pacific Northwest cEDH Finals. It's $60 a ticket. It's going to be full proxy. There's a 100-person cap. The qualifier circuit that we hosted throughout the summer is what's ultimately leading to these finals. So we have 20-plus players who are all already qualified for the tournament, but it is open enrollment to absolutely anybody. And yeah, we're just trying to find out who's going to be the best player in the Pacific Northwest.
And you said that's November 18th to 19th?
Absolutely. And one of the more exciting parts, $1 grand in cash is going to the first place winner, and then $500 is going to second through fourth. So
yeah, this is really cool. I'm looking at the page right now, and it's fully proxy friendly. You said it is. What's the entry fee?
The entry fee is $60.
$60 with a chance to walk away with $1 grand at first place.
Yeah, honestly, not bad, because we've been part of tournaments that have been $50 entry, and the top prize is something that's $500.
Yeah, usually cards, not just straight up cash, but top end is usually $5.
Yeah, and I mean, I really like cards. I like when cards are on the top like that. Like, I think that's really, really cool.
Totally.
Like, I love playing for card stock for sure, but I
also like $1,000 cash.
Cash turns into cards and also anything else you want. So
cash is really cool. Like, cards does not turn into anything else you want, unfortunately,
because you have to turn them into cash,
and it turns into less and less cash,
significantly less cash.
Yep.
It's the cycle of life. Cash turns into cards. Cards turn into cash. And
less cash.
It's the ever-flowing toxic cycle that I'm stuck in.
We all take part in it.
Right. Segue about play boosters. I'm kidding.
We're definitely not getting sponsored.
We're not talking about that today. It's too much of a conversation.
Yeah, that's next week's episode, actually.
There you go.
Sick. So yeah, I am. This is one of the ones we are talking about going to as the Moxstars. We are hyped to join. Just to clarify, there is just because there were qualifiers doesn't mean you need to have qualified to enter this tournament. Correct?
Yes, absolutely. You do not need to qualify for the tournament. There's open enrollment. That's the $60 ticket. So if you just follow the link in the show notes for Next Level Gamers Den, that's where it's going to be hosted in Graham, Washington. They're going to be, or that link will lead you to the pay link. And yeah, it's open to absolutely anybody. We are trying to find out who's the best cEDH player in the Pacific Northwest, and we want you to be there, whoever you are who's listening right now.
Spoiler, Topher.
It's Atlas.
Right. Actually, we had a meeting with the cEDH admins, and at the end of it, the PDX cEDH admins and the cEDH admins had a meeting, and at the end of it, we were like, "Hey, who do you all think's gonna win?" And we all just kind of like mumble to each other, "It's probably Atlas."
Well, someone's just gonna build something.
We do have a lot of strong players. In the Pacific Northwest in general.
That's true.
I think that the Pacific Northwest and the West Coast in general kind of gets like the short end of the stick when it comes to podcasts. Larger in the larger cEDH community nationally kind of talks about us and stuff. And I don't know. We just had Adam, who has won many local tournaments and many local tournaments in Washington as well. But they just recently won Mox Masters.
I was going to say, I saw that.
Yeah, we've had a slew of our local players who performed really well at Mox Masters. We have one of the PDX cEDH admins also participated in the first CCU, so it was the one that had a Black Lotus on the line.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, they did lose to 6-mana Teferi, and they did not get the Black Lotus, but they did bring home a Time Twister. So, as far as I know, I think that's the largest cash or the largest monetary prize value in our region for a single player. I mean, I would love to be corrected, and by all means, like I don't want to like make that declarative statement, but if you won more than a Time Twister, please let me know, because I probably want to know you.
God, dude, you need like
And
a team of interns so you can like start a wiki page for all the information in your brain.
Oh yeah,
You're
yeah, yeah. I
forgetting,
just really like
two very
CDH. Just been
important
talking a
people.
lot. Oh, I'm sorry. Keep going, William.
So in your Portland scene, there was Eric and Diggles that won, got top 16 at at SD2,
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
and they're arguably two of the best players I know on the entire coast. They don't show up to our events too often, so I've been bugging them to get them to show up.
Yep.
Oh, we'll get him to
And,
this finals.
We have a lot of really good players in the Pacific Northwest. One of my favorite examples, we have a player that's only played 3 CDH tournaments so far that I'm aware of. His name is Taylor, and the first one was at the qualifier for finals. And so he's going to be playing finals, and he like totally like is going to get in because we gave him the ability to qualify at one of his local tournaments at Wizards Keep, which is in Southern Oregon. And his first CDH tournament, he totally won. The second CDH tournament, I personally invited him to the Surfside Invitational, which was a tournament that we threw online to get people qualified for Surfside, and he top forward on that one.
That was
and
when
then
we...
he went to...
Sorry, go ahead.
Keep going. Oh, and then he went to Surfside, which was this huge tournament thrown by Eminence in San Diego, and he top forward that tournament. And it was his third
That is so
CDH
impressive.
tournament with so much right? Some of the best players in the entire country. And this guy who'd only played 3 CDH tournaments, but he's from the Pacific Northwest, just totally cleaned house. Pretty amazing.
Yeah, I mean, we streamed the Surfside Invitational, and like we watched the whole tournament all day. Like we didn't realize he was so new to tournament play. Like we watched him literally climb all the way to the top 4 table and like seriously compete at the top 4 table. He was a very good player.
This is why CDH needs to be as accessible as it possibly can be, because there are people just like hanging out in LGSs right now that are probably some of the best CDH players in the world.
I mean, that's kind of how I became aware of like the Portland server and stuff. It's like, you know, Evan and I were going to the Laughing Dragon tournaments, you know, what Will organizes with the CEDH Discord. That was kind of our foray after Gabby's of like us kind of branching out into CEDH locally. And then that's where we met you, Topher, at the first one of those, and like seeing like what you guys have been doing for the community down in Portland and like all the way up to here in Seattle. And like now that you were like sending people to like larger tournaments to kind of like represent the community here, I think that's been badass.
Yeah, we were actually in talks with Eminence over a year ago about qualifiers and being a part of like, you know, like an affiliate with them to try to get players from our local region into these larger tournaments that they throw. And so we've thrown 4 qualifying tournaments that have been like basically like Eminence would sell us some tickets like at a discount, and we would put them as a prize pool, and like that would be like how we'd get there or how we get people into those. And the qualifier program that is starting soon starts in November that Eminence is putting on. We're becoming more official partners with them, and it's an open invite to any store that's interested and any tournament organizing group that's interested. Basically, like when you play an event with the Command Tower software and you submit your deck list, that deck list is automatically submitted into EDH Top 16, which is kind of like CDH's MTG Goldfish, if you will. So you're already being like ranked by just having your deck lists appear in the Command Tower software. But what's happening now from November to from this November to November of 2024 is that if you are a part or if you participate in an event from one of these organizations that are officially partners with Eminence, then your data is going to be coagulated into more of like a tier list, so that when they get to next November, they're going to be like, nope, these are the players who like are already invited, and these are the players that like those are the players that they're going to reach out to about participating in this 25K tournament. So,
and that's kind of
I'm
like
very, very excited because PDX cEDH has formally become an affiliate with Eminence after about a year of like kind of like working with them in a way that because their program hadn't developed nearly to the point that it's at now.
Woo! That's an exciting
super
announcement.
congrats. Congrats on that.
Yep.
Now, when you say 25K, what does that mean exactly?
Next November would be $25,000 in the prize pool is what they're shooting for. Right now, they're guaranteeing that they're going to get at least $10,000 in the prize pool, but this is a little bit of what the affiliate program is about. It's about trying to get more support for that tournament that's going to be at the end of November.
Wow, that's an incredible prize pool. The fact that they're aiming so far out for this too is kind of insane. They're really building this up.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, and coming to the Pacific Northwest Finals on November 18th and 19th. That will be the first event that PDX cEDH is going to be putting all of that data into this qualifier program for Eminence to become a part of that tournament next November. So
if you want to be in that 25K.
Start playing these tournaments to start qualifying.
Yup.
That's very cool. Yeah, so like last year we've been singing the praises of Command Tower and Eminence. Kind of what they've been able to bring to the forefront of kind of a fledgling format, right? We actually have like aggregated data for the first time like last year, like that really kind of became more of a thing, especially with like tournament results to back that information up. And now moving into this year and looking at next year, it's like super exciting that we're taking that and we're actually moving it so much forward and further forward, like looking at like tournament structure and stuff and having all like these qualifying events. Like bigger tournaments is just going to like continue to grow the interest in like bringing more people into this tournament or into this format and making it a little more sought after.
Yeah, the people who are already part of this community already see it as legitimate. I think it's just going to like people from outside are now going to this is going to legitimize like the format for a lot of people who see cEDH as like a sweaty group of players at the table. So it's really great.
We are. I mean,
we are. I am sweaty when I'm at the table, so I wear sweatbands and crop tops. It's hot in there.
yeah. It gets pretty heated. It gets pretty heated.
But there's other tournaments coming up before November, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a few tournaments coming up in October, just kind of as like a lead up to finals. October 22nd is going to be the second installment of the third season of PDX cEDH League at Portland Game Store. Portland Game Store is PDX cEDH's home store. It's where we threw our first tournament and our first tournament series.
We still got to make it down there.
We don't throw a monthly there anymore. We throw a bi-monthly league event there. There is still prizing for each event. So if you attend one event, you're still eligible for prizing for sure. If you like win and you do really, really well at the tournament. But all of that data is kind of put together into our league data so that when the league completes, which this season is only going to have 3 events in it, you get prizing based on your entire league performance. That's going to be October 22nd, link in the show notes. And then November 4th, we actually have 2 different tournaments that are happening on both sides of the world, both cEDH and PDX cEDH. Olympic Commander Challenger Series from Gabby's Olympic Cards and Comics.
Shout out Gabby's.
Love that place.
Yeah, they're throwing a tournament on the 4th. Notably, one thing that I do advocate for a lot with PDX cEDH is the use of proxies. It's wild how like 2 years ago when I first started doing this, like Portland Game Store was the only tournament that I knew that had a full proxy or full proxy policy. Gabby's isn't at full proxy yet, but this is the first tournament that I'm aware of where they've allowed any proxies, and I just want to shout them out for like, hey, that is very, very cool. Like, I mean, that's definitely a step in the right direction, and like you were saying about the legitimacy of the format, like there is so many accessible tournaments that are just happening all over the region. The person who was first throwing tournaments at Portland Game Store 2 years ago could never predicted that we would be where we're sitting at now. But talking about full proxy tournaments that are happening in November 4th, PDX throws a regular monthly tournament at Guardian Games, which is the largest LGS in Portland. We had 61 people at that event recently, notably, which that event was a little nuts. There was a ton of people there.
That's awesome.
We're going to be throwing an event there on November 4th, and those are going to be the events leading up to finals. The three kind of bigger events that are going to be happening in the region.
Yeah, it's super exciting. Evan and I got to get down to Portland, come into these shops, do some more of these events. It'd be awesome. Notably, we are going to be at Gabby's for the tournament on the Challenger Series on November 4th. Participating and maybe participating and recording and streaming potentially.
Yeah, we already sealed the deal with Gabby. We are going to be streaming live the final or the top table throughout the day for the Challenger Series tournament. So exciting stuff, because we had done the original when we hosted that the Surfside Invitational, and we've been wanting to do more of that. And luckily enough, we did such a good job with that first one that Atlas reached out to us and asked us to do this one. So we're excited to be back in that sports broadcasting style of content creation.
Yeah, shout out to Topher for giving us the opportunity for that. That was awesome.
Yep, you are the reason. You're the reason.
Nah, y'all are awesome. Y'all are awesome. I mean, straight up, I really do like y'all are like one of the most professional podcasts that have come out of our region in a really, really long time, and I really appreciate like the hustle that y'all do. Like this podcast rules. Like, just straight up. I mean, I did not know I liked Dr. Pepper this much.
That's what we're here for. We're here to get people in touch with their inner pepper.
Really more educating people about Dr. Pepper than his magic at this point, but I really appreciate that.
No, right back at you.
Honestly, I think we're on the same track, and that's why we've been aligned to this point. Like, we're about the community too, like
growing it, making more people take it seriously. You know, draw more eyes.
Dr. Pepper, right?
It's what makes us excited
all
to
Dr. Pepper.
record like all the work you guys have been putting in, like where we have this actual like tournament structure where like, there's professionalism on your end too. That's like,
100%. Yeah, working with you guys on that. Well, one, it was actually like incredibly seamless for like zero effort on our end, and like for it being a new thing on your end, it was super smooth the entire tournament. Plus having us like live hosting it.
Are you talking about the Surfside Invitational?
Yeah, it was just like you run tournaments just super smooth, dude. And at the end of it, we finished and it was like, yeah, this is the future. This is like the direction we want to move for sure.
Yeah, it felt easy to be a part of, and I think that in order to get more people involved, it does have to be seamless like that, and that's what you do so well. So, it was great running into you at Laughing Dragon, because you just had a ton of questions about Shalai and Halar, and I'm glad that serendipitous moment has led to this fortuitous relationship. So
Will, I got a question for you, dude. So we know that the finals tournament coming up is going to be the first one where you qualify for Eminence. But we're talking about cEDH down the road, potentially a December thing. Are we going to see that is the same as well? That be a qualifying tournament?
We're leaning definitely on the side of yes. We're just we want to get some final results.
100%. Yeah, I mean, I'm just excited to see what Laughing Dragon and cEDH does next year as well. Yeah,
keep us in the loop. And of course, we'll be posted to the cEDH Discord as well, just keeping our eyes open for stuff like that too.
I think wrapping up here, guys, like anything we're looking forward to in the future, like, deep things, in the works that we're excited about, maybe next year.
Next year, I just want to keep doing what we're doing. Like honestly, I would like to see more spell table tournaments happen inside of our region. I
think all of us
like
do.
The bigger spell table tournaments, like Mox Masters and like Chaos and stuff like that. In my personal belief, I think that is the absolute most accessible way to play the national cEDH scene. It's like, I know a lot of people have like a lot of opinions about spell table versus in person. Honestly, I almost feel like a lot of the arguments between in person and spell table is a little bit like the arguments between restaurant pizza and delivery pizza. It's like, restaurant pizza is great, it's fantastic, but sometimes I want to eat pizza in my pajamas. But it's all pizza. That's just how I feel about
very
it.
fair. Very fair. We're all said.
What are the plans going forward to like hype up these spell table tournaments?
Yeah, because
like get them to fire off.
Yeah, piggybacking off of that, I mean, like we were talking, we want to do more of this, right? And it's the most convenient for us to be able to just plug into a spell table and stream it on Twitch, like not going to Gabby's, bringing all this camera equipment and computers and shit.
So next year we are looking to lean a little bit more into spell table tournaments. One thing that spell table tournaments does allow for tournament organizers is that when there isn't a venue, we don't really have to work with like other venues and other like conflicting parties and conflicting interests. And smaller tournament organizing groups when it comes to like the amount of resources that we particularly have, like CEDH and like PDX cEDH, because neither of us are businesses and neither of us are like established brick and mortar venues. It gives us a lot more autonomy and a lot more like control over like what happens. Like I'm able to pay judges, I'm able to pay y'all the Surfside Invitational. I wasn't able to then, but like that's something that I'd be looking to do, is like being able to hire streamers and stuff like that. So I really like spell table tournaments as a community building exercise. I think that it's extremely healthy for communities to kind of take a little more ownership over the spaces in which they're playing cEDH at, and be able to have a little bit more of a control and a say over how those events are run and things happen in them.
And to have snacks, of course.
And
you got to have
you can have
snacks.
snacks.
And to have snacks.
Yeah.
And the pajamas. Because
Yeah,
it's all
Snacks
pizza.
and the pajamas and the pot of coffee.
No, the aspect I like too is like you have gameplay video now in a real setting, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to anything that you watch, even if you watch like the good cEDH podcast, like it is, they've already made some decisions, right? That's not a real thing. That's 4 decks that they've chosen to place off against each other.
Yeah, it's different. It's definitely different in a content that doesn't necessarily exist like a lot now. It's just like pure raw tournament footage and coverage.
It's honestly some of the best content that you can get is by
Some of the best
hosting
games we've played of Magic.
Yeah,
which is like you don't get to see.
from these spell table tournaments that, like you said, anything goes. And so, notice how on a lot of channels you don't see stacks decks. Here, you're just getting the full breadth
It's mostly
of the meta. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's actually pretty cool to get a realistic view, and I think spell table tournaments offer that and create a platform for it too.
Yeah, I like what you said, Topher, about how like approachable, like it's the most approachable way to play cEDH is like a fully proxied, cheap tournament online. You don't have to leave your house. You just need a webcam.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the best way for the largest amount of the community to have access to each other. But at the end of the day, I mean, I do love paper Magic. I do love in-person Magic. And so that's one reason that I do things like try to organize the finals and try to organize regular monthly tournaments in my city, and try to support the ones that are around my city as much as I possibly can. Because in-person Magic, I mean, let's see, how can I make this sound the most campy? It is about the gathering.
Yeah.
Community building, as Wizards would say.
There you go.
Yeah, from a competitive stance too. If you're not into that whole spell table process, and I think that going and participating in person and being a part of that community, as a competitor, actually sitting at the table and reading people's body language, some people would say is an advantage as well. You're able to use your politics to greater effect.
Yeah, I mean, Atlas said
person,
that when we interviewed him too, is he struggles with online.
Yeah,
even though he won that tournament, whatever.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's incredibly valid. I mean, it is a different style of playing because of the constraints around spell table and in person. There's actually kind of this might be a hot take of mine, but a flipped kind of perspective I have on something people have been saying about spell table a lot, seeing there's been so many cheaters that have been caught at Mox Masters, and there's been so many cheaters that have been caught in other spaces. I almost feel like that has the opposite correlation than people are applying to that information and data, that that must mean that spell table tournament has a lot more cheaters in it. I think it actually suggests that those environments are far more, there's more surveillance on them.
Yeah, we're finding the cheaters.
We're actually catching.
Yeah.
Exactly. So many people are actually recording their games. So a lot of people I've talked to, they're like, oh, well, in-person tournaments, I can see all of my opponents. It's yeah, but the same sleight of hand could easily be happening inside those in-person tournaments, and there isn't a camera hanging over their hands as they're doing it. So I don't know. There's a lot of plus and minuses to spell table, and there's a lot of plus and minuses to in-person. In-person definitely is absolutely it's the way that we all learn to play Magic, and it's the way that Magic was intended as a Dr. Richard A. Garfield wanted us all to be doing. But Spell Table Tournaments does allow a lot of autonomy for the tournament organizers, and it does allow a lot of accessibility.
Well, I mean, a
for
healthy
players.
scene has both, right?
Yes, and that's what we're looking to do. Like, that would be my main goal for 2024 is to set up the region in a place where both take place on a really regular basis.
Yeah,
Nice. And
that's a world I want to live in.
Earlier, you
Yeah,
shared, you shared a video with us earlier from Lamora's Cards called "The
Yes.
Future of SeaEDH." What is that outlining?
That's outlining Eminence's qualifier program. That qualifier program, they go into depth far more than we're going to go into here because this podcast is far more about the finals,
Dr. Pepper.
and more about the Pacific Northwest. But that video is going to go really, really into a lot of detail about the specifics with Eminence's qualifier program for 2024 leading up to their next tournament.
Yeah, we'll link all that down below so you guys can follow along.
Nice, yeah. So if any of you have questions about like this conversation or any of the little intricacies involved in how these TOs go through their process, I think that video is going to do a great job of explaining or answering a lot of your questions.
I got a hot question because we've been debating it from our interviews from the last tournament, and I want to ask both of you since we're talking to two tournament organizers right now.
Let's do it.
75 minutes with turns, 90 minutes no turns. Go.
Do you want to take it, Will?
I'll start. I'm on the hot seat. 75-minute no turns. The reason why I don't believe in it is I'm a turbo player, and I'm a part of a play group that we test these things. You know, the first time we ran 90 minutes no turns, we were finishing rounds in 60 minutes, and we're having no problems. We were running back to back, but there wasn't a lot of influence on stack decks. I believe in that 16-man tournament, there were 2 TNT decks, and they weren't doing anything. It was like 13 Rog side decks and a Gila deck and a Blue Farm deck. That was everything. So it leans on to being able to play faster and better. Of course, there's people that play Shalai and Halar, and they're like, no, I need to be able to get that gap.
No!
Busted.
Yeah.
Oh, shots fired.
No, yeah, I mean that's what a lot of my strategy is like setting up a like basically parting the sea in the right way so that I can shoot the gap perfectly. And sometimes that slows the game down enough to go to turns. So I do understand your point there.
I just feel like, and this could just be my own personal perspective from my outcomes, but I feel like more times I play turns, the more draws we see. I don't feel like games end ever when I'm in turns.
Yeah, and the drama of turns. Oh my god.
Yeah, it becomes a different game. Like the last 45 minutes is nothing like the first hour of gameplay.
Yeah, I've looked up at the clock plenty of times with like 4 or 5 minutes left and just thought fight like hell to get the draw, because like at that point I knew that
exactly,
I'd shot my shot and at that point it hadn't been successful. So it's like, in order for me to get another shot, more game actions need to happen to open up the gap again. There's not enough time for that. I need to get a point on the board. And so like when there's the incentive of turns where the game can just sort of like end, I don't know, like that's where this discussion and the parity between both arguments starts to arise. I don't really know. It's just
definitely.
I think
what the answer.
I don't think
right?
there is an answer. That's why I like to ask everybody.
Right, totally.
Topher, what's your thought?
We've experimented with a lot of different things. I was actually counting recently because somebody had asked, was like, hey, how many tournaments has PDX cEDH thrown? And it's over 40 like over the last like 2 years, and we had 90 minutes no turn, or we had 90 minutes with turn, or 75 minutes with turns was our first thing that we were doing for a long time, because that was kind of like the national standard. And basically when it comes to like our tournament, our philosophy around our tournament structure, we want it to look more like whatever is going on nationally. Our opinion is more of not really what works best for us, but more what is going to prepare our players best for the national cEDH scene.
Nice.
So we ended up cutting turns like a couple of months ago because the national cEDH scene is very clearly cutting turns. And when it comes to 75 minutes and 90 minutes, we are doing 90 minutes right now. We did 75 minutes actually for Command Fest recently.
75 minutes, no turns.
Only last weekend. Yeah, we did 75 minutes, no turns there. We threw a tournament there. Shout out to the guy who won that tournament. I don't know who that was. It was me. I'm sorry. I wasn't TOing, so somebody else was TOing, and I ended up winning that tournament. So, I mean, personally, I think I love 75 minutes no turns because I seem to do really, really well in those tournaments. And I will say, like, from a personal, like while I was playing that tournament, I did not seem to notice. Like, things being 75 minutes no turns didn't seem to impact my game in any meaningful way, or the games that I was having with other people in any meaningful way, that 90 minutes no turns didn't just have the same feeling to it. I will say, from a tournament organizer's perspective, people do get really, really touchy around this particular issue, and people do get really upset and really excited about this particular issue. I think it does come from, we all came from 1v1 Magic. And 1v1 Magic, people are very, very used to turns. They're very used to the idea that, like, okay, round has happened, but now I'm going to have a set number of turns to try to close this game. And so there are some people who, if they don't have turns, just with turns, already feel ripped off. So I'm a little concerned at, like, telling the entire, like, Portland community, like, hey, now we're taking away another 15 minutes from y'all. I know that there are players that would feel that way. So I don't know necessarily how to address that, but I do know that we threw the one at Command Fest, and there was no feedback, there was no pushback, there was no nothing. Like, we only got positive feedback from 75 minutes no turns.
I mean, did everybody get to go home at like 7 p.m.? Holy shit! That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it did seem to go a little quicker.
Yeah, I bet it would.
Yeah. From a tournament organizer's perspective, I love 75 minutes no turns because, yes, like.
Well, that's my
tournaments. Getting the rounds to resolve faster just does make things easier.
I think everybody wants that, honestly.
Yeah, that's my whole thing with it, is that, like, you can actually have expectations for when you're supposed to be done, or for when the next round is supposed to fire. So, like, if you just said 75 minutes no turns, 10-minute break between each round, so people can actually, like, snack or whatever. It's like, boom, done.
Equal footing. Now, everybody gets the same amount of breaks.
You have to be here at 3:15, like, for your next round.
Like,
and you have the whole day schedule.
Right. cEDH and PDX cEDH almost get to be like the examples of like on the opposite end of the spectrum of, like, the what happens when a tournament goes too long. Guardian Games, it's a huge store. Guardian Games has, like, dozens and dozens of employees. They can't stay open late. That's just a thing that they, like, it wouldn't just be like, oh, like 2 or 3 employees, like, hanging out and, like, they'll lock the door behind us.
Right.
Like, they're a huge store that, like, has closing procedures, and they're a huge retail environment. So they have to close at 10. So we had Guardian Games, that tournament is drawn before, where the final table just drew. And it was just because, like, the tournament took too long. Like, we started the tournament, there were 4 rounds, got to the final table. The final table had 2 hours. They didn't close in 2 hours. They didn't close nobody won in 2 hours. So the final table would have to draw, which is a bit of a meme. I'll totally admit that.
That's a feel bad if you're there all day.
That's a very feels bad. And
sorry, you've all got to go home. I keep the prizes.
William, y'all have had tournaments that went till like 12:30 at night, though, like 12 or like 1 o'clock in the morning, right?
Yeah, Fall Brawl ended at 1 a.m. and we were all dead tired.
I'm so glad I lost in semis, bro. Oh my god, I was so tired.
Well, you probably would have pushed for another turn 2 win in the finals.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Yeah, those are the say, like, as far as just like jamming these tournaments and, like, I don't know, the approachability of them, I love the idea of not requiring people to get there at 8:30 or 9:30 and then, not leaving till like almost midnight. Like, if we could get on like a time frame where it's like, I can expect reasonably 6 to 8 hours of a tournament and not 12 hours of my day. I think it's just easier to, like, get people to sign up for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess that's
convince everyone to play faster decks, or just play faster in general.
Oh, 100%.
Right?
Turbo.
Well, I'm leaving
we're all playing
Shalai
Rogside. The tournaments would last like 20 minutes. It'd be great.
I'm already moving on.
No, if you're all playing Rogside, the tournaments last 4 hours.
Everybody blows out and then has nothing left in hand.
And that's with Jamaican dude Eric, Diggles, all of them all playing wrong side. They're just like, here's my turn 2. They go, no, here's a wheel. All right, we're doing it again.
I mean, that's just good magic.
Rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
just
good
good
old
magic.
good magic.
Well, I'm glad we got
yeah.
your perspective on that.
Yeah.
I guess to like just wrap it up like really really neatly. My opinion on 90 minutes and 75 minutes no turns. Ultimately, 75 minutes no turns, like we just kind of like illustrated in the last bit of this conversation, are definitely like far better functionally and far better like logistics wise for running a tournament for sure. But ultimately, it's like I want players to have a good experience at the table, and for me that's like the paramount, like the absolute like highest priority is making sure that the games feel like a fun, engaging and a game of cEDH, that you had a meaningful shot of doing your thing. And so does 75 minutes no turns still allow for that? That is ultimately the question that I'd like to answer, and I feel like personally from the games that I've played, it feels like it does, but that would be my takes on 90 minutes and 75 minutes.
When
like
do you
that.
feel like you're going to be ready to dip your toes officially into like a tournament that's 75 minutes no turns? Is that
Ooh.
something you're just going to be gauging people like along the way?
Last PDX cEDH event was at Command Fest, and it was 75 minutes no turns.
Damn,
so,
son,
we have
got on the board.
Yep. We have a tournament next Sunday that I'm unfortunately not going to be able to attend due to work. So I have other admins who are going to be running that tournament. And right now, that's still planning to just do those tournaments how we have been, which was 90 minutes, no turns. Yeah, maybe going forward, I know that, I never want a tournament to draw again, and I'm sure William never wants to, have a tournament that goes to like 1 o'clock in the morning again. So that's definitely a problem that we're all like wanting to solve for sure.
Yeah, I feel you. I think it'd be good. All right, boys. Anything else you want to plug before we get out of here?
I mean, outside of
Same
I
time.
was gonna say outside of follow us on Twitter, find us on Discord. We're more than happy to conversate about it. Magic the Gathering, tournaments, whatever you guys want.
Yeah, we have 3 different Discords here with tons of people that love to talk about Magic. We got SeaEDH, SeaEDH, we got the PDX cEDH server, and we got the Moxstars server. Sick, man.
And how are y'all putting it in your early episodes? If you're not in the Moxstars server yet, what's your deal? Like, what's wrong with y'all? Come on, just join the Moxstars server. The Moxstars server is great.
Exactly.
Yes. Thank you, Topher. We've been trying to sell it for over a year now.
I don't even have to
That's a
say it.
pepperhead right there.
Dude, dedicated Pepperhead. True born.
All right. Thank you guys for coming on and
100%.
being a part of the show.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for being on.
And
you.
thank you for initiating and making this happen too.
Follow these guys up on their socials, on the Discords. Like, you can learn so much more from them than from us, probably. Thanks for listening, y'all. Deuces?
Question mark.
Deuces? Question mark?
To be
Deuces
continued.
question mark?
Deuces! Exclamation point.
Awesome. That was an amazing phone call with Topher and Will. Thank you guys so much for your time and for doing that for us, outlining the road to the finals. I don't know about you guys, but for any of these events, I'm kind of looking to participate. I kind of want a little piece of this action.
100%. After
Hop down to Portland. Get in on it.
Yeah, after 2 weekends ago, I've been feeling a little fueled for the cEDH vibes.
Fueling for it.
I'm fueling for it.
Yeah.
Playing Najeela,
yeah.
just all gas, no brakes. Actually, speaking of the brew buddies, I got hella tips for Najeela after the tournament. So join us up in the Discord, and you can tweak your decks there too. I made like 7 swaps or something like that, which is
okay.
like
That's huge.
kind of huge in that kind of list.
I am shocked that you weren't playing Draenith to begin with.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I was using somebody else's list that I tweaked.
Yeah,
But and also I just was way too lazy to update it before the tournament.
Fair
I didn't
enough.
have one ring or anything in there.
and so you top 16 with just a
Just-
Najeela list that you didn't get reps in with.
If I'm
that you
being
didn't even
honest,
look at.
I figured that the less of a shit I gave, the better I'd probably do.
Fair enough.
Just because that's how things work out.
Don't overthink it,
sometimes.
yeah.
And you did really, really well. So, turns out you don't have to think that hard to make it to the finals.
I mean, to the semifinals. If you want to be like Atlas and win constantly, you should probably think harder than I do. But
regardless of that point, that you don't have to think hard to win games.
Hey, fucking jam it. Thassa's Oracle Demonic Consultation, baby.
You are going to have to work hard to win these events and get your ticket to the finals.
I'll see you there where I'm jamming a win turn 2 every time.
We will see you there. We will definitely be a part of this, and we will definitely be there. I personally am hoping to claim, let's say, 3 or 4 of these little invites for myself. That way I can curate the meta around me.
Wow.
That's diabolical.
I like that.
Yeah, that means I got to win a lot.
A lot.
A lot.
Easy enough.
Yeah, I mean, Taeon wins games.
Just
so
magic.
Here we go.
Oh, you're on Taeom now.
I am. I'm switching over.
Just moving counters around.
Just dropping bombs.
Wow.
For your outro.
Got it. Okay.
All right. If you'd like a sports show, you can find us on YouTube, where you can like, subscribe, and ring that little bell for
Ding,
more
ding.
notifications. You can also find us on all major podcasting platforms, where you can leave a 5-star review. You can also join our Discord community through the link down in the description below. And then we also have a Patreon, which you guys can join up and become a supporter of the show. Become an official Pepperhead. Huge shout out to all of our patrons thus far, all 49,000 of them. And
Correct number.
Thousands more every day.
every second.
I love y'all.
Thank you so much for listening to the Moxstars podcast, and we appreciate you guys listening to this episode. We hope to do more content like this in the future.
Okay, bye. Good night.
Bye!
Bye.